story that we're sharing is something that I think, is in our cells. It's in our DNA. It's in our wiring of our brain, in terms of what that is. And every single creative person, if a couple of people talked about music being so important. Why do you think music is important? What happens between the listener and the music that is so important? The emotion. Yes. You actually, it changed. Like, do you ever feel like you're frustrated and you put on a song and you turn that on and it's like it connects, right? And when we watch a movie or a show, that music adds to that. So it speaks to us. It connects us. Good feeling, or I am just like pissed off, and so that music just like, just get it out, right? Yeah, and then I feel better, It's like, or you go, they feel like me too. So you don't feel alone. If you're angry and you want to scream, then you can through the music sometimes. Or the music, it adds to that fear, the fear factor. Like, why do we want to be scared, And then it's like feelings. The what? Yes. So that this sense, we want to connect. And I ask that every single person, that you allow yourself to realize you're creative beings. Every single one of you is going to bring your creativity to whatever you do. You don't have to be an actor. You don't have to do it like I do it. But you are, as Michael said, the actor in your own life. You are the being in your own life. You will be in your job or your creative story. You are bringing you. That's why when you do whatever you're going to do, it's going to be different than when you do it. And that's what we want. We don't want everybody the same. We want each of your unique perspective. Because how you see something or you see something, it's those differences. So I don't think we should try to be like any celebrity. I don't think we should try to be like anyone famous. We might learn from them or admire them, but usually why we like them is because they are uniquely them. So I ask that each of you start to know your own creativity, your own unique perspective. And that is in us. And sometimes we forget, sometimes when we're sitting in classrooms or we're on a computer or we're dealing with things that are outside of ourselves, we forget that we are this human instrument. All we have is this space, these cells, these guts, this blood, this whatever it is inside of us. And ultimately, no matter what sometimes we're very much in our brains, our imagination, our thoughts in our head, but really it is all connected. And actors, that's our perspective. Michael, he teases me because he's a writer, he has the ideas and he puts them down on paper. Actors have to take it in us. So be it, in it. Not show it. I mean, we do, but we show it by being in it. So when we are activated, so even if you are in your music, often you might hear it, but then you're still getting it out through you. If you see an image for your story, or you have a sense of how you want to create a story, or even telling the news, even sharing news, there's going to be a certain kind of way to express that. The way of expressing is in this human instrument, and often it's a very good way to reconnect to your creativity and your perspective. So the actor perspective is to become a storyteller through this instrument. That's all we have. We don't have a violin, we don't have a piano, we don't have a basketball. We are going to just tell this story with our voices, our bodies, our feelings, our imaginations. So we learn to embody that. But why I don't want if you want to be actors, sure. But you don't have to be an actor to know that this is another way in. Has anyone ever been stuck? Like you're working, and you're just stuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you do when you're stuck?
Change.
You change? You change how?
I start
You
doing-
sleep?
Yes.
So some people like lie down and sleep,
Yes.
rest,
I started doing something different.
start to do something
Yeah.
different.
Take a nap.
You take a nap.
Dance and I do weirdly.
You dance and do
Weirdly.
weirdly.
I do weirdly moves.
You do weird moves.
Yeah.
I don't think they're weird. But sometimes, so you get into your body. Yeah, some people like to dance. Some people go work out,
Yeah.
go to the gym,
So I do.
or go for a walk. Does anyone like pace? You know, like that? Yeah. Some people, you know, we do different things to kind of unlock, to kind of jam up when we're jammed up thinking. But sometimes sleeping or resting, sometimes just daydreaming. Do you use that term, daydream? So for creative people, daydreaming is part of your job. Because we go off, it's like, I'm working. You know? Because we let ourselves imagine.
Yes.
So this is an important part of our job. And someone, who was it earlier brought up breath? Did you bring up breath? Breath is super important, I think, for the creative person. Because what happens, I mean, we're all breathing because we're alive. But what happens when we consciously, what happens when we come into our breath? What are we doing?
We're gonna be like calm.
Relax?
Yeah, calm.
Calm,
Calm. Yes, relax.
concentrate,
Yeah.
we focus.
Yes, focus.
We get out of sometimes the like, I can't do this, this is wrong, blah, blah, blah.
Get rid of some dirty drink.
Yeah, some sort of like,
Dirty things.
yeah,
Dirty
things. So we kind of release. So our breath is super, super important to us as creative people to kind of be in your breath and in your body. So I hope through some of the exercises we do, it's very little that we have the time, is to remember that we are these creative beings, that you have this body that is connected to your imagination, that even when you dance, it's releasing whatever that is to let yourself kind of see things in a new way. And we often get, you know, when we call it in acting, obviously connecting to our imagination, we call it play. To play, you know? And we want to play because creative thinkers play. They come up with new forms or new ways of doing things. When in your life were you allowed to play?
When we study.
When you study?
Yeah, when we study something.
When you're studying something, you can play. When else?
When we believe in ourselves.
When you believe in yourselves?
Yeah.
When in the world, when in your life were you really allowed to play? How old were you?
Hocam bir tanesi değil hocam.
When you're a child?
Oynamak hayatınızda ne gibi öyle bir şey mi?
Ne zaman oynadınız diye soruyor.
Ne de hayatla mı neyi oynuyorsun?
When in your life were you most allowed to play?
Ya hayatınızın hangi döneminde oynamaya izin verildi size?
Last night.
Last night? Oh yeah, what did you do last night?
I studied ne oynadım? Monolog.
A monologue group. So in acting class, you were allowed to play. Good.
And then dance. Saçmalamak ne oluyor?
Making some full stuff.
Oh, some music,
Yes.
letting go. When else in your life? What about when you were children? Yeah? When you're children, we're allowed to play. When we grow up, very often we have to go in the world, come to work, go on the street. We don't want to be like, this is me, all over the place. But sometimes when we, in certain classes, or maybe sometimes when we go and party, and when people drink, they're like, I'm allowed to play now so they can act weird, But often we forget what
actual playing is.
And for any creative person, the ability to play is very, very important. Okay? So this connection to this instrument and allowing freedom to express, right? So that is, I think, so human. We need it to survive. So we're going to kind of do a little exercise to connect us. First to our bodies. A little exercise to connect us, how actors connect to our bodies that might be useful to you. And then we're going to talk about story. And then we're going to, how many people, do you guys know each other? Or
Yes.
some know, some don't?
know, some know.
Yeah, okay, so some people know each other, some people don't, okay. So let's just start with just our instrument. So the first thing we do is our feet, hips. We line them up. And knees, we don't block, no, we want to soft, so just bounce. Hands out of our pockets, everybody. So on our feet, yeah. See, and, you know. So hands at your side. Just here, just down here. So just in your body. I know it feels weird.
This is horror.
No horror, yeah, no horror. We call it actor neutral. Yeah, are you uncomfortable already? Come a little closer, yeah. So quiet, please. So just soften your knees, hands at your side, and stand up if you can. And see if you can bring your tallest self. And we're gonna shake it out like this. Make a sound. Don't be afraid, no one's gonna bite you. Scary, huh? Can you make a sound? Really open. Often we have a lot of tension in our jaws. A lot of tension in our jaws. So we tighten up, right? Like, the world. I gotta keep it together. Gotta keep it together. So sometimes you go, It's like, stop. So when we open up, so take your hands at the side of your mouth, side of your face, and just open your jaw. I know. Okay. And then give yourself a little massage. Here, your shoulders. Stand on your feet if you can, not against the furniture, so you can be in your body. Unless you're too cool. And that's okay. You can be cool. I'm not going to take away your cool. If this is, people go, what the hell? Okay, so shake it out. And now we're going to do what we call an actor roll down. And this is just important to make the connection to this place that sometimes we forget because we get stuck in our head and how I look. Everything's about, I don't want to lose it. Whereas here we just go, who cares? Nobody cares. It's okay. We're just going to be here. So we're going to be in our body and we're going to take our head. You watch and then you'll do it after. You're going to drop your head and then you're going to roll down your vertebra. Roll down your body. And you're going to go all the way down. And we're going to hang like a rag doll like this. And then we're going to slowly roll up. And you're going to wake up this instrument a little bit and reconnect it, okay? So that's called the actor roll down. So everyone, hands at your side, away from the furniture, and then